What's up, everybody? Well, my first stint has ended in Colorado, and in about 22 hours, I will be landing in Istanbul. I have about a 6-hour layover in Frankfurt, so I'm hoping to maybe talk to a couple people in the airport during that time and maybe get a little bit of maybe shorter interviews in with some people, but I'm off on my next adventure. So I hope you can follow along, and I will see you soon. All right, so I am here in Frankfurt on my second layover, and I think it's about 2:30 in the morning to my brain. But what's so amazing about the human body is that if it sees the sun is up, then that means it's time to be awake. So I can't really say I'm sleepy. My brain is definitely off because I just did a perfect recreation of that scene in National Lampoon's European Vacation where I went around the roundabout about 150 times in a row. And I got stuck in this loop that felt like a nightmare. I was just stuck in the terminal, and it said that there was restaurants that were 50 feet away, and it was going to take 45 minutes to walk there. I couldn't figure out why, and then I finally asked somebody and said I had to immigrate to get to the floor that they were on. So I just threw my hands up, and I got on a bus to a different terminal, and it turns out there was a really great restaurant, because I don't want to eat any more bread. I ate freaking 5 pieces of bread on the plane on the way here. And so I just didn't want any more bread, and so I actually found a place that had American breakfast. But then I got there, I thought to myself, why am I going to get the American breakfast? There was a Nuremberg breakfast, and I'm in Germany, and I'm gonna have the Nuremberg breakfast. And the Nuremberg breakfast was sausage and eggs. And the only Nuremberg about it was that there was mustard with it. And if anybody knows me, they know that I absolutely cannot stand mustard, but I decided to get the Nuremberg breakfast because I'm here, and I actually dipped my sausage in the mustard, and I didn't hate it. So I think this is progress for me. Anyways, I've got four and a half more hours until my plane leaves, and then it's a 3-hour flight-ish. So I'm gonna try to stay awake this entire time so I can go to bed just about when I get to the place where I'm staying, and it should work out just right. So that's it.
Board here for all ages.
Well, it is midnight at the end of my first full day in Istanbul, and I don't quite know where to begin when describing this place. Let me show you how the day played out, and I'll summarize my thoughts at the end. I'm in a car that I hired off a Facebook group before I left home, and this is what I got for $40 for my 35-minute ride to my apartment. Pretty incredible. I got to my apartment around 9:30 p.m. and I just didn't want to go to bed, so I took a cold shower and got right back out on the road, and this is the first scene I saw. I just couldn't believe how much nightlife was going on at 10 o'clock at night, and I knew I was in the right place. This is the road to Taksim Square, and it reminds me exactly of Piccadilly Circus in London or Times Square in New York. Such an incredible crush of people. The first thing that struck me about this area is the amount of sweets, and especially baklava, and cats. If you haven't heard, Istanbul is completely run by cats, and they rule the world everywhere they go. And every one of them is the nicest cat I think I ever met in my entire life. This is the sound I woke up to at 6:45 a.m. And this is the first call to prayer, the first of 5 that they do throughout the day. This is the street my apartment is on, and just up the road I found this really great breakfast spot, and breakfast is $4. And then I found this market, and the market went on for absolutely forever, and everything you could possibly imagine you could find there, from fruit to clothes. Right about the time that I had taken this video, I put the phone back in my pocket, and not more than a few minutes later, I woke up to a phone number. Somebody who tried to steal my phone out of my pocket. That's it. I really appreciate that. So this is Taksim Square, and I was kind of surprised that there weren't more people here when I arrived, but then it was 90 degrees, and as the sun went down, man, it exploded. It was like, it reminded me of Washington Square Park in New York. It was just people everywhere you looked. Really, really incredible. I decided to take about a 25-minute walk down to the water to see what I could find, and one of the first things I saw was this gorgeous mosque, and a great friend of mine told me I needed to visit a mosque while I was here, which I had planned on doing anyways, but this is the first one I found. I arrived about 15 minutes before a service was going to start, which was a really fantastic surprise because I wasn't sure when they were scheduled, and I got to sit and watch as the service unfolded in front of me. I was kind of surprised how short the service was, but then they do it 5 times a day, so that makes sense.
والأنعام خلقها لكم فيها دفء.
I've recently become very interested in different religious practices, and the only ones I've ever been exposed to in my life has been a Catholic Mass, a native sweat lodge, a Christian worship, and now this mosque. And they all have a very similar appeal to me, that while they're inside this place, this is the best version of themselves, and that is who they try to leave the building to represent in the world. Right next door was this gigantic palace, which I didn't go inside, but I will. It's kind of reminded me of the Louvre. So that's it, the end of day 1. On that main street I showed you, every single block had side streets that were absolutely jammed with restaurants and shops, and you could spend probably 10 years and not visit every single place, but that's my plan. I think that's where I'm going to spend the majority of my time. I found a coffee shop with a 2nd floor, which seemed like that's a place I might want to do my writing, and so that's my plan tomorrow. But I will explore all around. Oh, I meant to say, I think I'm going to take my time to learn how to approach people here. I remember when I was in New York, I had nothing but rejections when I wanted to take people's photos the first 3 days I was there, and then I figured out the right way to speak to people. So I really want to take my time. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to try to get you guys an interview with somebody who lives here, a local, as soon as I can. Anyways, stay tuned for the next episode. Talk to you soon.